Welcome, welcome. Dr. Stephen Hobbs here from the Wealth Movement, sharing a tip about co-creating the well-living workplace. And today I'd like to go to the word community, because I think it's a really important word that you have to weave in to this co-creation, this well-living workplace. And I'd like to start by sharing that community is about the level of commonness that unifies us together. And it's very much from a structural perspective moving towards relationship. And when you're actually in community, it's a form of grouping that we sometimes associate team and group and meetings and ad hoc committees and something I call a GREAM, which is a choice between group and team, and that's for another day. But community is a way of bringing this commonness together to unify us. And it has this notion of a structure to it that's bringing it towards relationship. So it's very much about getting together and understanding what's going to happen within this grouping. The next level, I'll use levels here, is the community of connection. And that's when you start to think about how am I going to work from myself out, so within the community, and then without in the community. So it's very much from a place of relationship that is now connecting with the structure. And people are getting to know each other, getting to know how they work, establishing the acquaintances, establishing the connections that are going to matter as they move forward. The next level of community is the community of practice. And this is when you start truly working together. It's about the work between people in this community, this level of commonness that unifies you together. It's a wonderful level of interaction. And there is a chap in his website and book that I will put into the show notes around the video, Wintergar, who talked about communities of practice many years ago, and it still continues into today. When I learned about it, I went, oh, this really makes sense. This is about taking your knowing into doing and working between and among each other as you move it forward. The next level of community, that commonness that unifies us together, is the idea of community of significance. What it is you do, is it significant? Is there value add that the community is giving to itself, right? And or into the community that it influences, into the society it influences. So it's very much about this working together. It's really coalescing and coming together. This co-creation is really moving together. And the fifth level, and I'll go with 5 here, is the community of movement. And that's when you start to really realize how your community is moving within the organization, but it is what it is doing outside of the organization. It's going beyond the boundary of your organization. And this can happen in ways like sharing your best practices that become others' wise practices. You find yourself, some of the staff are on speaking engagements. Others are writing books. Others are showing up at conferences and presenting papers. It's getting into the expression of the movement of your community. And what happens then is it gets to a point where you have to come back and revisit and say, okay, we're in movement and we're working beyond, but every once in a while we got to go back and touch base with community of connection, community of practice, community of significance, so that you can build up, grow again this community of movement. So from a co-creation point of view, really look at this word community and where does it take you? And if you really want to extend this, take a look at the word communication, because community is in communication. And as a word play, if you look at communication, it's common, unity, and ation. But if you move if you move the C to the other side of A, it forms the word action. So communication is really what's the level of commonness that unifies us into action. And therefore, the type of communication that happens at each of the levels is really important to pay attention to. Words matter, and words are going to give you a hint at what's actually happening. So with that, enjoy your levels of community and your co-creation of the well-living workplace. And at any time, ask questions around the video. And I have the course, the Co-Creating the Well-Living Workplace course that's available at wealthmovement.com, organizational-health. So I look forward to seeing you there. And with that, take care.